Hey, Tim, the end of another week. Can you even believe it? And happy May Day.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we made it into the next month.
We certainly did.
Yes. It's a bit of a blur, though, I have to say, between Monday and Friday. I can't spot where one bit ends and the next bit starts.
I know. But I have to say there's a much more feeling of optimism out there, and it feels like, we're starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel. Some people are still doing okay with their transactions. Transaction numbers are down. Let's not, sugarcoat it. There's no doubt about that.
But look, I think you're right. And like I said, I think today is the first day that we can have people going and visiting family and this sort of thing. So, that's nice to think we can go and do that now.
Yeah,
and then additionally, the Prime Minister has said, I understand, I haven't listened to it in any detail, but they're going to start and lift the restrictions a little bit further.
Yeah, they said that they're going to start looking at it next week, but he also said, which made me laugh, he also said that we need more people on the app. So if you want to go to the pub, people, you've got to download the app. And that's the only reason my husband has said he'll download it, if he's allowed to go to the pub. So that might be, just encourage.
How about that?
Exactly. Absolutely. Now, we've got a whole lot of new training courses available. Do you know what they are, or do I need to read off this email?
No, I don't know them all. And if you've got a list, that would help me out enormously. But I can say this about one of them. That we have some training on difficult negotiations.
Yes, we do.
We have put together as quite an in-depth and comprehensive training in that area. And I know particularly some of our younger property managers, some of the reports I'm getting out there, that a lot of it has been very confronting. So getting some skills, some tools, if you will, about how to deal with those difficult conversations, I think is a very, very good investment of your time.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's very smart, because a lot of the property managers really are struggling, because these negotiations are tough, and some of the tenants that least need the help, as we know, are the ones that are the toughest negotiators as well. So we do indeed have a virtual class with difficult negotiations. We've got another one on presentation skills for online meetings. Maybe you and I better do that one. Strategies for dealing with the fear of the unknown. I love that. Okay. And then we've got online, we've got residential tenancies update and our compulsory CPD. Okay. So that's all ready to go. Lots of other elective CPD courses, assistant agent course, the licensing course, and recognition of prior learning is also available. And we've also got webinars in May on online auctions, the way forward, foot in the door, community information for property managers, and property marketing, what works and what doesn't. So that's great. There's a lot going on, and I think we'll probably still do our Friday webinars as well. I think we've got Tanja Jones next week.
Yes.
And we've got a couple of others that we'll book in for later in May as well. So lots of training going on.
Absolutely. And didn't Linda Rudd do a great job today?
Wow. She's a very impressive woman, that one. That's
phenomenal.
She was really in the hot seat. I felt like she was at school being examined. It was funny.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have known she was nervous. She had all the answers. It was very good. Absolutely. It was a really good session, and our friends in the commercial area are certainly have their challenges coming at them as well.
Oh, they sure do. And if anybody is interested in what's going on in the commercial space and didn't see the webinar, obviously that's available online, and the slides are available as well. So that will be on the website.
I couldn't recommend that any stronger, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've had a number of tenants now starting to ask the landlords to justify their own financial position when they're rejecting some requests for rent relief. What's your view on that, Tim?
No, the short answer is, and it's very rare to get a lawyer to be that succinct, but the answer in my view is no. They have no entitlement to know the landlord's financial circumstances. The burden of proof, in my view, is on the tenant. The tenant is the one that's coming forward saying, I need you to excuse me from my contract, which is the lease, and the lease says I have to pay this amount of rent. I want you to reduce that, and I'm going to provide you with the documentation in support of my request. Now, that's what the tenant's doing, and if the landlord says yes, then that's as far as they go. If they say no, and they end up in the tribunal, then the tribunal is going to say, well, I think that the tenant's application is reasonable, and now I'm going to look at your circumstances to decide whether or not your resistance to granting it is reasonable. So that would be or obviously in a mediation, but that would be the first time that the landlord has to put their financial information on the table.
So on the Fair Trading website, it does say that a landlord could be called upon to provide justification why of their financial position and why they couldn't assist. But my reading of it, and obviously your reading of that, is that Fair Trading can ask that question when it's mediation. It's not to be provided by the tenant to the tenant.
And I should say now is a good opportunity to. We had it confirmed from Fair Trading that the landlord would have to fix anything that broke. So my go-to example is always the hot water system. So if the landlord is not receiving any income, or if receiving less income, they still have to do that. So when the landlord puts all of their expenses on the table in relation to the property, the landlord should say, well, I'm making provision for repairs and maintenance for my rates and all the rest of it, all of the outgoings that I need. So I don't think you should go to those meetings purely on the basis of what I have and what I don't have. It's about what money you're going to have to spend going forward. Should come into the discussion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, we've got the Everyone Matters campaign happening live on our website. We've already had more than 200 people accessing those letters, which is fantastic because it's only just gone live. Tell me a little bit more about that campaign.
So we're making it very easy for people to be able to get a voice through to the Premier and also to their local member. Now, the entire narrative coming from the federal government and coming from the state government has all been about the plight of the tenant. Now, I always like to make this clear. Do the tenants need help at this time? Absolutely. But what hasn't had a light shone on it is the difficulties the landlord is facing at this time. That, has the landlord lost their job? And a series of other things that would be impacting the tenant could also be impacting the landlord. And I think there needs to be some recognition of that around government's table and to understand it. And that's why we've chosen that catch line that everybody here matters. So we're giving agents out there, property managers, the opportunity to engage with their landlords and to get that voice through to the Premier and also off to the local member. Now, there's 3 documents coming through. One is designed for the Premier, one is designed for the local member, and there is one from me which just sets out all the problems. I want to make sure, and the Institute wants to make sure, that landlords fully understand what's happening here, because I don't think that anybody has taken the time to explain things to the landlord where all the energy has been focused on the tenant. We're going to try and bring a little bit of balance. Equality, I think is the word, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Question without notice. We've had no more clarity on landlord insurance. No,
it's still a very interesting space, unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway, so it's around the federal table now, which of itself is which is a good thing. The problem is a federal one.
Yeah. Okay. You've also sent a letter to the Minister's office today.
Yes, I have. I have. I had drawn to my attention. That'll be my phone.
Oh well, don't answer it.
No, I'm not going to answer it. I'm just going to turn it off.
Good idea.
There we go.
Okay.
Actually, amateur hour here. So I had drawn to my attention a couple of things on the Tenants Union website. One of them was saying, hey, even if you're not impacted by COVID-19, why don't you see this as an opportunity to try and reduce your rent as well? Now, I find that appalling. to be encouraging people who are not impacted to be lining up and presenting themselves along with other people. We need to be focusing our energies on those people who need the help, not those people who are opportunistic.
That's the thing, right? I mean, we all know that there is going to be a market correction with rents. We all know that is that's going to be the reality that we face. But right now, there are so many people in desperate situations. The property managers cannot handle the volume of inquiries in some cases. In other cases, I'm hearing that there's only been a few tenants. So it just depends on your area. And some of the cases as well, you know, there are some very, very wealthy tenants out there. And I had a situation that I saw yesterday with a guy earning $800,000 a year who's lost his job and doesn't want to pay any rent. It's like, well, if you're earning 800 grand a year, I think you might have some savings. Just think
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not all one-sided, and
no,
and actually, Leanne, that's a really good example of somebody who lost their job, and their income has dropped by 25%, and now I don't want to pay.
That's right. Yep, I know. It's Anyway, we could talk about this all day, so we won't. But you've sent an email, a letter to the minister.
Yeah, I had the second issue that I took some umbrage at, if that's the right word, was the comment in there that landlords aren't particularly good at providing housing, etc. And I said, well, hey guys, be a little bit careful what you wish for here, because there's 2 million tenants in New South Wales alone.
Wow.
And this is not a chicken and egg story here. If you don't have a landlord, you can't be a tenant. So
that statement just blows my mind. I don't even know what it means. Who else who's better to provide the housing? The government can't afford to provide 2 million properties in New South Wales alone. So I just don't even understand. Anyway, I don't want to get into a battle with the tenants union. It's the last thing that I want, because, you know, the tenants do need to know what their rights are, but they need to be advised in a balanced way. And I guess that's potentially what's not happening as well as it could. Okay. Now,
I just wanted to be recognised. I didn't say anything then.
I know, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
So, roadshow Wednesday, we've got combined roadshows happening online on Wednesday. So that's going to be exciting. We'll check in and let you know how that goes later in the week. And the Awards for Excellence. So we are taking submissions right now for the Awards for Excellence. And we've actually got quite a few submissions coming in, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to think people are, in all of these troubled times, being able to, set some time aside to engage with our awards program. It's, I take a lot of encouragement and heart from that. So it's lovely. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, really good.
We don't know
it's
yet.
It's a great industry. It's a great industry, and it's filled up with, a lot of great people, the sprinkling of larrikins in there. But I really look forward. Yeah, I do. I really look forward to our gala night, and I hope it can go ahead. It's in November. It's plenty of time.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Wait and see what we can do in that space, but we'll certainly be ready for a party by then. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before we go?
No, I don't think so. I can't think of anything.
Okay. No problems. Well, I will see you again on Monday, and in the meantime,
Monday afternoon.
Have an awesome weekend.
And I will, and you too.
I will.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.